Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and today I'm going to be talking about Mephisto. All right, you might have seen the Explained in a Minute for Mephisto on the channel. This is going to be the spotlight on story. And what I decided to do is, look, there are so many great Mephisto stories out there, right? Stories with him. And I really thought about doing the Mephisto Verse series. I actually just reread them simply for the sake of. I may do something pretty soon where I can do that also, but for now, we're going to talk about the first appearance of Mephisto way back in December of 1968 with Volume 1 of Silver Surfer, issue number 3. All right, so issue number 1 of Volume 1 of Silver Surfer, the one, he basically it's just a retelling story for the most part. Issue 2 of the same volume is basically just Silver Surfer flying around and looking for a home, basically. And it's the typical, man versus monster thing, where it turns out the monster is a whole lot cooler than man, He's just flying around looking for a home, and every place he goes, he's met with prejudice and all sorts of racism, and everybody who wants to sit here and say, oh, we didn't see stuff like that in the comics back in the day, it's only because you're Daredevil, and you can't actually read comics. Okay, so, that being the case, he, at one point in issue number 2, he comes across this girl, and he has to save her because all sorts of bombs and missiles and bullets and rockets and red glares and whatever is going off as the military is trying to pursue the Silver Surfer. And it's like, dude, you ain't going to hurt the Silver Surfer. But they don't realize that. So he goes and he starts trying to get rid of these guys, but this girl gets hurt. She gets, knocked into a coma. So until he can actually tend to her, he flies her up into space and puts her in this little cocoon. No, not Adam Warlock or her style. And just keeps her there for a bit. Flies back down and then starts, handling things as best he can. Tries to talk to people, doesn't work, whatever. He's like, okay, I'm out. So he flies back up, he grabs the girl, he comes back down, he puts his cosmic energy into her as best he can, but it's just a temporary thing because it gets cut off because all of a sudden here comes the military again. It's like, oh, attack! And they're like, mind you, Stan Lee and John Buscema were on this, okay? So, yeah, a lot of the same people did the Hulk. So what do you think is going to happen? This is basically just a Hulk-style story where it's literally just, oh, here's a guy who's actually really cool and really powerful, so let's just send the army after him. Well, didn't quite work out that well, and pretty soon we didn't have to worry about stories like that anymore. In the meantime, and maybe you liked it, which is fine, but so now we're going to skip over to issue 3 proper. And what happens here is that, oh, yay, the car alarm finally stopped. Did you hear that? That was really annoying. So, what happens? He goes to the hospital where this girl is. She was found by the military and brought to a hospital, but she's in a coma. She's not moving, nothing, but she's alive. She's got a pulse. He goes and he finds her. All right. He'd already put his energy into her a little bit, so he can trace that energy anywhere. Silver Surfer is great at finding energy anywhere. Now, more on that in a bit. So he goes and he's like, hey, man, here's this girl. Let me try and help her out. And the nurse is like, haven't you done enough? And the military's like, oh, no. It's actually the police this time. So he's like, okay, listen, guys, I'm just trying to help this girl out. I'm going to send a cosmic bolt of healing. Like, wow. So they're trying to stop him, but he shoots her anyway with his bolt. She's able to move and start waking up. The nurse is like, oh, hey, maybe he was trying to help. And the one officer's like, oh, hey, yeah, maybe so. But the other officer is like, And he pulls out a freaking cannon. Oh, I'm not joking. This isn't just like it's not his sidearm. It's not his sidearm. It's not even like a rifle. No, he pulls out this big freaking bazooka-looking thing that you carry under here instead of up top here, Carries it down here. I swear to God, this thing, it looks like Optimus Prime's cannon from the Transformers. You know what I'm saying? The big bo 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 bo, one shall stand, one shall fall. That's what it looks like. This huge thing. He's just like, Kia-bow! Like that. Oh my God. So Surfer's just like, boom, and he falls to his knees. Did he get hurt by this thing? No. Even the officer's like, he's unhurt, but he's on his knees. What's going on? Surfer's just really like, I can't believe you people. You want to answer everything with mindless violence rather than thinking. You want to attack something rather than think about something. Like, I mean you no harm. And Surfer's having a really big conflict here. Really big internal conflict. And he's just like, I can't believe you people. So he melts the gun, melts all their guns. And he flies up into the sky and he starts absorbing cosmic energy because he's going to need it because what he's about to do next. And while he's doing that, Marvel has done a lot of Jesus type moments. Just go ahead and check out Adam Warlock and all of his original stuff on Counter Earth, his meeting with the High Evolution and everything. You want any kind of an idea of that, boom, he's the ultimate Christ-like figure in the comic books. But Norrin Radd isn't too different from that. So, Surfer's just like, please forgive me for what I'm about to do. It's like a premeditated forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody who studies religion knows that stuff just don't work. So he goes flying down and he just boom. And here's something you get to really see the power unleashed of the Silver Surfer. Like it's one thing for him to fly up and like, hey, Galactus, person who gave me my powers, and just start shooting bolts all over the place. That's one thing, man. But, it's just a bolt against an entity, a concept that eats planets that you can't really measure. You can't really quantify that. But here's something you can. Silver Surfer deprives us of all of our technology on the Earth. Yeah, no joke. Obviously, there's the 616. It's not the proper Earth. Our Earth was at the 1218, I think that is. Anyway, all of anything that is electronic based, anything that is radio wave based, anything that has anything to do with standard energy transmission of science, he shuts it down. So radios don't work, electrical turbines don't work, you can't turn the power on any place. This is back in 1980s, early 1980s, so there ain't no cellular. There isn't any, not a whole lot of microwave going on. There's like nothing for the most part. It's just electricity and radio waves, for the most part. So, yeah. And there's UHF and VHF also. But VHS is a little bit different. It doesn't require bunny ears to work. If you get that joke, you're old like me. Celebrate it. Don't be upset. So anyway, just wow, man. He just starts blasting everything. So he doesn't destroy anything, mind you. He just makes it so that energy doesn't work. No more energy flows anymore. So, boom, we're essentially in the Dark Ages. Lights don't work. People in the city are freaking out like there's genuinely zero light. It's the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? So really wild, wicked, cool stuff. So this actually grabs the attention of Mephisto, short for Mephistopheles from the Faustian story, the story of Faust by, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. And the story about the guy who makes a pact with the devil because he's just spending all his time studying. He's like, I'm sick of studying. I want to know everything and I want to be comfortable. So he gets that, but it's in exchange for his immortal soul. So the rest of your life in happiness, but then an eternity in torment. Doesn't that just stink? So that's actually the story that Stan Lee is referring to when he decides to create Mephisto. He's not the actual devil or anything like that. So Mephisto's like, dude, what the frick is this power? That's not even cool, man. So he's just like, all right, I'm kicking some butt now. I'm going to find out about the Silver Surfer. So he does this thing. It's some kind of cosmic awareness thing where he's able to mentally focus in on the Surfer, go back in time and find certain key points in his existence that define who he is. So he's like, aha! So he's like, okay, he's got this girl named shalla-bal, and she is on zenn-la. Meanwhile, this guy's trapped on Earth. That's right, I said trapped on Earth, in case you've forgotten. At one point when the Surfer had betrayed Galactus, Galactus punished him by saying, hey man, that's it. You're bored. You're stuck on Earth. And I kind of gave it away. His board was actually stuck on Earth, not him. But since the board is the way that he flies, so the way that he actually wound up escaping that was he it happened by the end of this series, and then it returned in Volume 2. He got stuck back there again by Mephisto. Go figure. But the way he was finally able to get it fixed was The Fantastic Four helped him out, and they said, okay, listen, leave your board on Earth, and you get in this rocket ship with us, and we'll fly you out. Because it's apparently, if that's the thing that flies, that's the thing that's actually stuck. Reed Richards figures this stuff out. He's a pretty smart cookie. So, and it's a four-shaped cookie. So they fly out, and they're scared. Ben Grimm, I think it was, he was just like, dude, man, like the back of the ship's going to get torn out if we're wrong. You know what I'm saying? But Reed's like, let's damn us all. I mean, how many times have I screwed you guys over in space to begin with? Cosmic rays, anyone? So they fly off, and it turns out it works. So then he's able to, the surfer is able to mentally cause his board to dematerialize and then rematerialize outside of the planet, because that's where he's at, outside of the barrier that was put up. Well, if it can dematerialize and rematerialize, I don't see why he couldn't have just done that and then been outside also. He just kept on trying to fly and boom, 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 like a freaking hamster. Anybody ever own hamsters? That's what it reminds me of with Silver Surfer. So anyway, then he goes and he visits Galactus, and it's like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, all right, fine. I take down the barrier, have some fun. So anyway, basically, when Mephisto goes and like, what a sidetrack, right? Goes to Shalla-bal on Zenn-la. He's like, hey, baby, how you doing? It's like, come on over here. Let me whisper in your ear. And the whisper song. So he says, come here. I'm going to take you back to visit Norrin Red. He's on Earth. I'm going to take you there. She's like, really? Really? And she's like, all right, cool. Take me there. He's like, all right, let's board the ship. Like, what do you mean a ship? I can sense you're an infinitely powerful creature. Why do you need a ship? Whoa there, lady. Don't question the Satan guy, okay? So they fly back, and I know he's not really Satan. Check out Comic Book University's Mephisto Explained in a Minute to understand who he really is. So flies back down, or they fly from Zenn-la to Earth. Now, by this time, what do you call it? You're sitting there saying, why does he hate Silver Surfer so much? He hates him because he's pure. Because he realized, like, okay, checking this guy out, how powerful he is, blah, 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 all this other stuff. The fact is, he's not really a bad guy. He's doing all this bad stuff, but he's going to wind up, realizing that he made a mistake and undoing everything that he did. I can't have this guy out there. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, he's going to bring hope to people. All right, Mephisto would hate Superman. He would hate Superman. So he goes after the Surfer. He's like, this guy's pure. He's actually purer than any of the saints of ancient history. Yeah, like that. So he goes after him with a bullet, namely shalla-bal. So Norrin Red, the Silver Surfer, does change his mind. He's like, all right, fine, you can have your power back. You know what I'm saying? And, of course, nobody's like, thank you, sorry, we were wrong. Like, hey, he's a monster, you see that? So he's like flying around doing whatever, and he sees, hey, that's a ship from Zenn-la. Why is a ship from Zenn-la doing here? Well, I can't go out to it. It's going to come in here. Yes. It's like, wait a second. What's going on? His cosmic awareness is, his cosmic awareness sense, his Silver Surfer sense is tingling. So it's like, what the? They're going to send their missiles and artillery and nukes up here to hit the ship because they're scared of the ship. So he flies down there and just wham, takes out all the weapons of this military base. And then America is conquered, and we all start speaking German at that point. There are some people listening to this who'd be like, dude, that's my dream. But in the meantime, I suggest you go on like a nice little app that'll teach you a different language and let it be at that. So he flies back up. He's like, yes, it's safe. Hey, whoa, still got hit. Turns out there was another hidden military base someplace around that he didn't quite notice. Failed that roll. D&D reference. And flies back up. He's like, no. So the ship goes in and lands, and he goes also. He's like, but the ships from Zenn-la are very strong. They're almost impenetrable. So maybe the person inside is still alive. And he opens it up. It's shalla-bal. So okay, here's the funny thing. Here's where it shows the creativity of, like, Stan and John. because I don't have the creativity to make up names like this. He says, I'm going to send down a healing balm, a cosmically powered healing balm. Dude, I can't make that stuff up. It's actually in the book. So, cosmic powered balm. He heals her. And she's like, oh my God, I love you so much. And they're all like that, you know? So they get to the point where she's like, wait, but there's a great evil here. See, she didn't realize he was evil at first, but that long ship ride over, she got to realize just how evil he was. He actually stayed on the ship the whole time. He's just like, and he's doing all this like demonic evil poses and stuff like that. It looks like a big red vampire. And it's freaking awesome, I gotta say. It's amazing. He pulls off the best poses in this. He's got the, like, you know, 1 foot on top of one rock and leaning forward stuff and like just everything he does in this. He's just, it's sick. And of course, Surfer isn't budging at all. He's like, I'm not impressed. Why don't you cringe? I'm evil. I'm coming towards you. It's like, yes, but the worst you can do is kill me. And Silver Surfer does not fear death. Man, you're no fun. So she's like, it's Mephisto. And Mephisto's like, yes, I'm here, but you and me are going to have to duke it out, but not right here. Nope, instead, a place of my choosing. So he grabs shalla-bal, boop, goes back to his home. So he's like, yeah, I'm on my home realm. I got my power. I am supreme here. Surfer is nowhere. And all of a sudden, here's the Silver Surfer. Yeah, no joke. Silver Surfer just shows right up. He's like, what is this? And he's drawn awesome. Like, he's all in the shadows and whatnot. He's there with his board. And it's like, dude, the guy might as well have, like, Megatron's fusion cannon. You know what I'm saying? Because it looks that cool. He's just sitting there. I'm about to hang 10. And it just looks so awesome. All right? So, you know, Surfer's just standing there. And he's like, how did you get here? How'd you find my pocket realm? How'd you find my hell? And it's just like, man, Surfer knows everything. I can follow it. Here's what I was going to say. You know, I put a pin in this earlier, right? You know, I can trace energy anywhere. I know where you thought you just left, but you left a bit of energy too. I just follow with energy's strongest, mother fat head. So now what? So yeah, he's like Dog the bounty hunter, the silver bounty hunter. He just traces his butt back. And he's like, I'm taking my girl, man. So these two get into it. Here's the thing. Mephisto in his own realm. You ain't messing with no Mephisto in his own realm. Let me tell you something right now. Surfer ain't beating Mephisto in his own realm. Oh, he could thwart him. Okay, but here's the thing. Here's one of the ways that Mephisto's power works. Okay, a better explanation than that 1.5, 2 minute long explanation in the Explained in a Minute for Mephisto that I did. Basically, Mephisto could, and he says it plainly, and yes, he could be lying, but he's probably not, especially not on his own plane of existence, where those two are perfectly tied in with each other. He says, I could kill you with a thought. And he means it. He really could. He comes from the residual power of Demogorge. So, if you're not familiar with that, that's Demogorge, like the ultimate god, who took all the elder gods, originally Atom, and what do you call it? He sees all these elder gods going around killing each other, except for Gaia, and he's just like, man, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you, and he starts like eating them and absorbing them, and he turns into, you know, this big ugly Demogorge thing. And once he's gotten all of them, except for the ones who ran away, like Shathan and Set and all that stuff, and of course he doesn't go after Gaia because she's awesome, he goes after all these dudes. And he captures and kills almost all of these elder gods, and then he leaves, and he goes up to the sun, but then he shakes off all that excess godly elder god energy, you know? When that elder god energy falls, there's a bunch of different classifications of demons that come from this. The class 1 demons would have been what the elder gods had devolved into. Mephisto is not an elder god. But what he is, he's a second class demon, which is the immediate offspring of that. Not offspring as in he was birthed, but rather he was created because this energy fell down to the earth, and there were already humans who were being terrorized by these frickin', you know, elder gods who turned into demons, you know? And what do you call it? So all these earth humans, they saw these creatures, or what do you call it? They had their own myths and legends that they developed after seeing these elder gods fighting each other and whatnot, and giants, and they moved on. And after generation, some of these myths still existed, so they recreated some of these things and then their own superstitions. So you'd figure like religions, as well. And the this energy wound up becoming what turned into Mephisto. Also, on top of that, there's Satanish, there's Thug, there's Baphomet, there's all these other... actually, I think Baphomet would be considered a third-tier god. He's not quite as powerful as Mephisto is, but all these other gods, these demons, afterwards... so that's where the fall comes from. And all that stuff can be found in the Serpent Crown affair. All those Avengers and other annuals that crossed over, I think there were like 14 of them. Yeah, there was the main story, and then there was the backstory in the back of each one of them. And they all add up to something else also. Anyway, so that's where the idea of Mephisto and all these other gods came from. Demonic figures. So the idea that he's Satan, no, he's absolutely not Satan. In fact, there are several Satan figures out there, but Mephisto is undoubtedly the most powerful of them, though not by much. Hela is not considered one of them at all. She is not at all. In fact, she's not a demon lord. She's not a hell lord. Mephisto and Satanish and all those are hell lords. She is not a hell lord, even though she rules over an area called hell, and she is herself called Hela. No. She's actually a death goddess. That's very different than a hell lord. So they'll clash, and they've clashed many times, including Mephisto-verse. In the final issue, she clashes with, which is Avengers, Mephisto-verse Avengers. She actually clashes with him there. But there's no actual fight. There's no need. You know what I'm saying? Hela overstepped her bounds, and he decided to overstep his bounds in return. And all of it was, you know what? That's another story. Really cool story, though. A lot of people don't like it because they don't get it. It was actually a very clever story. Al Milgrom, man, just awesome. So anyway, he, what do you call it? Mephisto is basically that kind of being. So on his own realm, where they're both tied inexorably together, no, there is no defeating him on his own realm. You'd have to be like, Living Tribunal level to take him out there, possibly like or like death or eternity level. You know what I'm saying? You ain't beating Mephisto on his own realm unless you're that level of power. So anyway, he doesn't want to kill the Silver Surfer though. If he kills the Silver Surfer, that's it. It's just done. Listen, here's the deal. If you see a cake, okay, the best kind of food, I'm just going to say a cake, because right now I'm kind of fiending a nice little strawberry cake. Yeah, that's right, strawberry cake, all right? Freaking strawberry cake just staring at me. I'm just imagining. I just want to walk over there and be like, hey, baby, how you doing? How about you and me? Get a fork, get the fork out of here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, you see this cake, and all of a sudden some dude steps up in front of you and body checks you. Be like, oh, can't have the cake. Be like, oh, I'm sorry, is this your cake? No, this is not my cake, but you can't have this cake. Look, there are some people who are devilish enough or dumb enough that they would pull out a bazooka and be like, you know what I'm saying? And blow up this dude and the cake on top of it. But most of us would be like, you know what? I'm going to find a way to get this cake. All right? And nothing, hell or high water, is not going to stop me from getting this cake. Pun intended. So he's like, dude, man, you know what I'm saying? I want this cake. I want Silver Surfer in the worst way. I've got to corrupt him a little bit because he's a pure soul. So I got to corrupt him just a little bit, get that sin in there. Once he's got that sin in there, now he's open, that slippery slope. Now, the little sin is like a gateway, the temptation, all that stuff. Now, when he actually accepts a contract, you know what I'm saying, comes with me willingly, now he's mine for eternity. And I need this. I want the Silver Surfer in the worst way. So he could just kill him with a thought. But why would you destroy your cake like that when you know that you're eventually going to get it? Even if you're wrong, you know it. Mephisto knows it. So, seeing this purity in him, he tries everything he can. And he tries to tempt him. Now, this is where we get a little bit Christian and biblical. You know what I'm saying? And he's all like, okay, I'm going to tempt you. He gives him 3 temptations, just like when Satan tries to tempt Jesus in the wilderness, translation the desert. So Mephisto goes up to Silver Surfer. He's like, hey, man, I give you wealth. Wealth like you wouldn't believe, baby. So much wealth. Look at all that gold. Look, just this chalice of gems right here is worth enough that you could actually buy the entire cosmos. And he's like, man, get that stuff out. He like pimp slaps the chalice. He pimp slaps the chalice, all right? The pimp goblet, whatever that thing is called. All right, just hits it. He's like, get out of here with that. GTFO. So he's like, what are you talking about, man? You ain't never surfed the galaxy before. You've never surfed the universe before. If you think that gems could buy that, no way. That's priceless. This is not. All right? This is quantifiable. That is not. So he's just like, man, all right, well, you like your shalla-bal. Well, you can't have your shalla-bal. But look at these 3 girls over here, man. I got these 3 sexy girls over here. How you doing? Go ahead, say hi. How you doing? Oh, but you ain't got to choose. You can have all 3. Here's the thing. He doesn't realize that Silver Surfer is silver with that underwear, and it's bulgeless. So, like, what's he interested in a girl? I'm playing. I'm going to get hate mail. Actually, no, I'm not going to get hate mail because let's be realistic. The only hate I'm going to get is going to be like 140 characters or less because nobody writes letters anymore. So anyway, what winds up happening at this point is he's just like, man, get out of here with that stuff, man. The only girl I love is shalla-bal. And this is where Mephisto, it's like he was never a human or anything like that. He's always been this immortal, and his only love has been his hunger for souls. So he doesn't get love. He just doesn't get it. Long before there was ever a Harry versus Voldemort, it was always this cat who's just like, yeah, I'm going to get some souls, man. I'm going to get some souls. He never understood love. So he doesn't understand why someone would pass up 3 beautiful girls for 1 girl, So who's already told that you can't ever have anyway. So then he's just like, all right, fine. How about this? An empire. Now look, this isn't going to work on the Silver Surfer either way. And he's just like, you obviously don't know me. And this is a very good play off of the Bible, all right? Stan Lee, a Jewish guy, all right, who understands the New Testament, all right, in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, where you see the temptation of Christ, all right, which isn't really a temptation at all. Because, like, if you look at it from a biblical aspect, whether you say that Jesus is just a prophet, or if you say that he is in fact the Son of God, or if you say that he is in fact God on earth, either way, everything in the kingdom of heaven is considered for Jesus, all right? And that's everything. Everything in existence basically belongs to Jesus. So when the devil comes up and starts offering him these 3 paltry temptations, he's like, man, get out of here with that. Like, all this stuff is mine anyway. How are you going to sit here and try and, offer me all this stuff when it's already mine? Well, the surfer does take that biblical Christ-like apparition in a sense, but he also takes here's the thing, a very Native American sort of a sense, where it's like, how can anyone own the cosmos? But I can surf the cosmos. Okay, right now I can't because there's that barrier, but like, you get what I'm saying. I can go pretty much anywhere I want. I've been everywhere I want. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to keep on going. How can you offer me any place that is static and isolated in this universe when I've got the universe to explore? I don't carry money on me. I don't need it. He was actually just called a vagrant earlier on in the issue. In issue number 2. The people were so racist against him, like, no, we don't want your kind around here. He's like, come on, man. The police officer's trying to be cool. He's like, all right, so what's up? What do you got? What are you going to do? He's like, oh, well, I figured I'd like try and get an apartment or something like that, someplace to live. It's like, oh, okay, well, you're going to buy something? He's like, no, I don't actually have money. I mean, I'm in my underwear. He doesn't actually say that. I'm saying that. And it's like, oh, you're a vagrant, huh? Yeah. In order to be welcome into a society, you have to have money. Okay, I get that, but how do you get money if you don't have money? There's a conundrum there. So it's the idea that the surfer understands all that stuff. He just doesn't care. He's a hippie. Minus the hair. borrow some of mine. So the surfer is like, dude, none of this stuff is going to work on me. I've seen the cosmos. I don't need this stuff. And you just don't get me. You don't get it. So now Mephisto's a little bit hot under the collar. All right. So he goes after him. He's like, ah, and he starts sending his demons after him. One demon is actually doing a really good job. One of these demons is actually doing a pretty good job. And Surfer's like trying not to hurt him. So the dude's just like, all right, listen, man, I don't want to hurt you, but if I've got to, I will, just to make a point. So he uses energy and just burns the hand of this demon. And the demon's like, ow, 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 ow. You know? And he's trying to call Mephisto a coward and everything. He's like, you keep on sending your people. He's like, man, I ain't no coward, man. I'm going to do what I want to do, all right? This is how I fight. Shut up. So, wow. Like, it gets kind of bad. At certain points, it just gets really bad. He's really getting jacked up. At this point, what happens? Oh, yes, he actually, with all the mercy that he's showing, Mephisto finally says, all right, you know what? I'm done with this. And he takes away his body, takes away... This is what I'm talking about, like the ultimate power of Mephisto on his own plane, all right? Silver Surfer can't do this. He goes and he takes away Silver Surfer's body. Literally, his body is blinked from existence. And he's reduced to just an idea. He's only an idea at this point. And he takes that and puts it in his own head. And he's hoping basically to corrupt it while it's in there. You know what I'm saying? But the Silver Surfer's soul is so pure, like I said, greater than that of any saint, that he actually, he breaks free. Mephisto can't take it anymore. He's like, get out! So then, boom, he reconstitutes himself, you know, or he just is reconstituted, whatever. And boom, he's back. Surfer's just like, dude, you can't beat me, man. Like, what are you trying to do? He's like, this is the idea. You're more powerful than me, but you're never going to break me. You want me to bow to you, and I will never bow to you. All right? So, finally, Mephisto says, okay, listen, you're going to do what I want. You're going to give me your soul, or else I'm going to send shalla-bal back to Zenn-la. And there's the barrier. You can't get it, so you'll never see her again. And she's all like, no. I'll go back, but I can never let you lose your soul. He's like, fine, but I love you. Let us just let our fingers touch one more time. And Mephisto's like, get out of here with that. Yoink. They're like, don't. There was no touch. He got no touch, no chill. Netflix wasn't even in existence back then. There was nothing. So he's like, I've been denied. He's like, that's right, punk. Because I'm Mephisto. And like the pimp hat showed up and the scar and the shades and all this stuff. And Thug Life started playing. Yeah. He sends him away. Get out of here. Go back home. So he goes back to Earth. And that's the end of the issue. Now we see more of Mephisto clearly. Only like a couple issues later. I think it was issue number 7 and 8, 8 and 9, whatever, something like that. We see that Mephisto actually has the soul of the creature called the Flying Dutchman. Yeah, if you know your pirate lore, you know, he's actually the one responsible for creating the Flying Dutchman. He sends him after him. That's right, it's the Flying Dutchman versus Silver Surfer. It sounds stupid, but it was actually kind of cool. The backstory and everything involved was actually really cool, and it was a redemption story. It was actually, you want to know the I can give you this one. It's not even that big of a deal. I'm going to tell you because I want you to actually get the whole series. I want you to get a lot of Silver Surfer and read the heck out of some Silver Surfer, all right? Just to give you an idea of how this storyline ended. The Flying Dutchman was repentant and left and refused to destroy or to attack the Silver Surfer, even though Mephisto was like, I will set you free. He's like, I would rather you destroy me. I'd rather you let me be tortured forever than to hurt this innocent soul, you know, to hurt such a noble creature. I refuse to obey you anymore because you are evil. It's obvious. And Mephisto's like, I'm sending you back. And as he's sending him back, Silver Surfer, who knows he's powerless, he sheds a single tear. It's like a Muad'Dib out of the deserts of Dune with Stilgar in the Sietches. You know what I'm saying? He's just all, you know, the Fremen. And he's all just like, if you ever read the Dune books, you know what I'm talking about. If not, Dude, go read the freaking Dune books. What's the matter with you? It's the greatest science fiction novel ever. Yeah, it's better than 1984. Anyway, so he, he sheds a single tear and it redeems the Flying Dutchman. Oh my God. The philosophy, the empathy, everything that you find in the Silver Surfer comic books, man, it's there and it hits you. Just boom, it's good stuff. Like twisting at the hip and putting the shoulder into it and everything. It really hits you hard. It's beautiful, amazing stuff. The writing is pure. It's amazing. And there are people who complained about the art. Deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a sign of the times. Like literally people back in the day were complaining about the art, but whatever, it is what it is. Anyway, absolutely beautiful stuff. Absolutely beautiful stuff. And the other trials and tribulations that Mephisto has done throughout the history of the comic books, pretty impressive. Like I said, there's the Mephisto verse, which is versus the Fantastic Four, then the X-Force, X-Factor. X-Force didn't exist at the time. And then over in the X-Men, and then it also versus the Avengers. So all of that comes to a head. And this is around close to the very, very end, like the last couple issues of Walt Simonson's run on Thor. Around issue number 18 or 19 of X Factor. All sorts of really cool, crazy stuff. Like it's solidified in history. Bunch of cool stories, man. One of them involves Daredevil. One of them actually involves Daredevil and Blackheart, where, you know what? I'm going to get into that one of these days. If you want to read right around, issue number 79, 78 or 79 through issue 282, I think it is. Can't remember. But around that 280 issue mark of Daredevil, volume 1 clearly, you will find a very incredible story in there. The art is by, what's his name, Jr. Ed Begley? Not Ed Begley Jr. John Romita Jr. Now I know, everybody's like, oh, I'm not going to read it now. No, this is actually when he was pretty good. It wasn't until much later, he was just like, man, I'm going to live off my name, including my daddy's name. I'm going to just draw like really basic from now on and just get a whole bunch more done because I want the money, But no, back in the day, he was actually drawing pretty well. And he drew a version of Mephisto that was very different. And it was great. It was absolutely great. Anyway, lots of really great stories involving Mephisto. So many really great stories. Very impressive character, interesting. And, could I forget the Infinity Gauntlet, which we will be covering one day also. He was involved in the Infinity Gauntlet, and he was the cause of a lot of the angst in there because of the manipulations that he did. Anyway, guys, I'm just going to put this to a rest. Mephisto, absolutely fantastic character. I had to just get this character done. Had to be done. All right, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Hope you enjoyed. Class dismissed.